Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another live stream. You know the trick by now. Hit the like button. Let's get the video to 200 likes. That is our target. Make sure you do involve in the discussion. Let me know what you think about these stories. We're going to be speaking the midfield, Bissouma and Yuri Tielemans. And then we'll also talk about Melo to some point because recently Arsenal have been greatly linked with Melo as well. But Bissouma, again, in another transfer window, linked with Arsenal, the player himself coming out to confirm that he would love to play for Arsenal Football Club. Yuri Tielemans has also been reacting and talking about the rumors and the contract situation around him and where he would go. And he did confirm that he's going to be leaving Leicester City. Rumors are that he doesn't care about UEFA Champions League anymore because at this point in time, there is no club, with those qualities that actually has approached him for negotiation. So we're going to be discussing those two players and why I think, for me, I don't know what you people think, but I think if Arsenal is going to get any midfielders in the Premier League, it just looks like these are the two because Tielemans that cheap, that good, and then Bissouma that cheap, that good. So get involved in the comments. Yes, I've been away. But you know me, when it comes to transfer content, I never disappoint. I'm going to be, giving you the latest and and we will be reacting to whichever kind of content and stories they are. So let's start off with Yves Bissouma. Yesterday, a couple of stories, starting with Kalisho Makato. That is the first outlet that broke the story, and they say that Yves Bissouma interested in the player. However, what I can confirm is Bissouma is not on Arsenal's radar up there. He's not up there, he's not, up on the radar. He's not among the priorities that Mikel Arteta wants to bring at the club. Actually, if you look at the players that Mikel is looking at, he's looking at Melo. He was looking at Renato. Renato will be moving to AC Milan. They have a total agreement. Arsenal have been looking at Lucas Paqueta and Yuri Tielemans plus Ruben Neves. Now, I think Arsenal will not be going for Ruben Neves because of the price. Wolves continue to press, the point that any club interested in Ruben Neves will have to pay over 75 million euros. Now, for me, that is ridiculous. We've spoken about it on this podcast. He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I love him. I feel if Arsenal brought in Ruben Neves, he can give you more than what Xhaka gives you, but I don't think he gives you so much more. And 75 million euros for Ruben Neves, I just feel it would be overpaying for a player who we can get better. You can get Lucas Paqueta for that price or even less than that. And it's gonna do for you it's gonna do very well for you. You can get Housem Owa for so much less, and then he can do very well for you. So Ruben Neves for that price, 75 million euros. I love him, but I don't think anyone is gonna buy him at that. Probably Man United, because United always pay the money. I mean, they never disappoint. They always pay the money. But for me, there is no way I would recommend Arsenal to pay 75 million euros for Ruben Neves. Although I think he's a very, very great midfielder, Premier League graduate. He has the experience, very reliable, very durable. He plays as many games as he can. I don't see any wrong in it. I don't see any wrong in it. The problem is the price, right? So with Bissouma yesterday, Kalisho Makato, like I said, they came out and said the player wants to play for Arsenal yet again. His interest is in playing for Arsenal Football Club. Interesting. This is the third summer Yves Bissouma is blowing his own trumpet to come to Arsenal. And look, you know that there are circumstances when a player is not good enough, and you say, look, he's playing, he's blowing his own trumpet to come to Arsenal, but he isn't even good enough. But with Yves Bissouma, it's a very different kind of point. He just loves Arsenal. That is it. He loves the club. He loves Arsenal. And it is his dream to play for Arsenal. Last summer, while Arsenal were looking at a couple of midfield options, Romano came out and said, look, they want a midfielder. Bissouma is on the list, but he's not among the priorities. This summer, it looks like it's the same. And this summer it might be a little bit difficult because look, we are looking for a central midfielder. We are not even looking for for a box to box. We're looking for someone who can play ahead of Thomas Partey alongside Martin Odegaard, because Odegaard operates so much on the right-hand side with Saka. So you need a midfielder who operates on the left with Gabriel Martinelli, with Emile Smith-Rowe and the rest of the others. So the point, Bissouma coming to Arsenal in terms of a central midfielder, it can't work. It really, really can't work. Actually, I think if you look at what we are looking for in a central midfielder, he doesn't qualify. But this is where, for me, lads, he qualifies. We are going to be playing 38 games in the Premier League. I don't know how many games we'll play in the Europa League, but at least a minimum of 15 games probably in the Europa League. Okay, a minimum of 12. You have the FA Cup. We need to start progressing in the FA Cup. The last 2 seasons, we've been dropped out of the FA Cup on the first round of competition. Whenever we enter, we are kicked out by ramshackled clubs. We need to stop that. So you need the likes of Yves Bissouma. First and foremost, like Mikhail said, you need squad depth. I've talked about that in the previous video I've uploaded. Make sure you watch it. How Arsenal will line up next season with transfers. And I said, the point with Yves Bissouma, he ticks the box of Mikel Arteta saying he needs quality, he needs maturity, he needs experience, but then he also needs squad depth. If you want all those three, if you want all those, if you want all those in a squad, I think this is when players like Bissouma come in. It's a smart signing. His contract runs down in 2023. There is no, look, I can't say there is no better signing than that, but in my opinion, if Arsenal want a good signing, if Arsenal want a smart signing in that midfield, you already have the issues with Thomas Partey, being unreliable, and also the workload on Thomas Partey is very, very huge. So whether Partey can play 38 games in a campaign or he can't, that workload is too huge. You need someone who can, who can be there. You need someone who can, provide support to Thomas Partey. Probably Partey coming off in the 60th minute, 70th minute, and even if not that, you also have Partey is 28, turning 29. So you need someone, a young, an understudy that is really ready, absolutely ready to come, onto the stage and just give you what Partey has been giving you. I think Lokonga can't do that, but if you have a player like Yves Bissouma, you don't need to take your chances. So, lads, for me, look, when it comes to Yves Bissouma, I think it's a no-brainer. I don't know why Mikhail has not put him high up the radar, but for me, it's a no-brainer. All the points, all the advantages on that deal are towards Arsenal. All the advantages are towards Arsenal. His contract is running down in 2023, so he's got 1 year left on his contract. It's going to be around 20-25 million euros. You look at the likes of Madrid have taken Aurelien Tchouameni. Arsenal not going to sign Aurelien Tchouameni. We do not have the money. We don't have Champions League. But Bissouma is available. We've seen him win midfield battles against almost every midfielder he's played against. His success rate is good. His tackling is good. His pressing is fantastic. And then he covers a lot of ground. And if he comes into this Arsenal side, I don't think there is a lot of technical work that is going to be required to do in the side that Odegaard and Tielemans, or Odegaard and Xhaka, or Odegaard and whoever is going to be playing in that role is not going to do. So the role of Bissouma will simply be pick up the ball from the center backs from your full backs, pick up the ball in that in those deeper areas, and then try to progress it high up the pitch. Something that I think is doing very very well with Brighton, is playing in that kind of midfield pivot, but literally he's playing in that kind of double pivot. But literally, if you look at how he plays, he's playing in a single pivot. He's energetic, he's athletic. If you're playing a single pivot, you need someone exactly as Partey. And for me, Bissouma is as Partey. And if you remember my argument, of course, we do have the African Cup of Nations argument that we will bring onto the table. But if you remember my argument against team signing last summer, it was I thought Arsenal wanted a central midfielder. I never thought Arsenal wanted a backup to Thomas Partey. And my argument was there is no reason as to why you bring in Yves Bissouma. If you're looking for a central midfielder, you need someone who's a little bit faster, technically gifted, and smart in terms of creativity, and also sharp in the final third. Now, Bissouma is not that. But if you're looking for cover for Thomas Partey, 25 million euros, lads, we're not talking about 30s. We're not talking about money in 30s or 40s. We're talking about 20s. 25 million euros. Brighton know they have made a mistake. They should have sold him last summer for me to whoever is available. And this is a player who is not going to I don't think he's going to fail to find a decent club, even if he doesn't join Arsenal. I think Antonio Conte can take him at Spurs. I think if Fernandinho leaves City, I think Fernandinho will be leaving. City could look at him. Man United have the same problem. They could look at a cheaper option in Yves Bissouma. There is so much room. There is a lot of room for him to play in the Premier League and even around Europe. There's so many clubs that can use the services of the Malian midfielder. So if Arsenal want to do this deal, for me, one, do it quickly, right? I do not get where we've got this kind of pride. We are not in the UEFA Champions League. We have a couple of opportunities to sign players, but then we just kind of drag on. We just kind of, we just feel proud. For nothing for me, because I don't get why Arsenal would be, proud in a transfer market, at least now. Yes, we are a big club, I understand. But with the likes of Gabriel Jesus on your radar, you don't need to be proud first. You need to be fast, and then you can be proud of signing them rather than being proud and then sorry. So, lads, for me, Bissouma, again, he's come out and confirmed he wants to play for us. He's proclaimed his love for this football club many times, right? And this is the summer for me. If it is not this summer, then it's never going to happen. Because for me, this is the summer when Arsenal need lots and lots of reinforcements, lots of quality, lots of maturity. Is 24, but if you look at how the amount of work he does for Brighton, you just you've just got to argue that Arsenal would be signing their perfect masterpiece to the midfield. Let me know what you think about Bissouma. But for me, lads, yeah, he's the man. Arsenal just need to get this one done. He is the man for us. Now, talking about midfield, I think Arsenal should be getting 2 midfield reinforcements. I thought about 3, but that would be if Mohamed Elneny had left the club. But with Mohamed Elneny set to stay at Arsenal Football Club, actually with Mohamed Elneny staying, it would mean that Arsenal will be only interested in bringing in 2 midfielders this summer. The other one is Yuri Tielemans. Now, there is a lot to discuss around Yuri Tielemans, and we're going to talk about everything in this video, everything that has been covered around Yuri Tielemans. But first and foremost, the first story around Yuri Tielemans was speaking about his future, and he said he loves Leicester City, he respects Leicester, and there's a lot he's learned at the club. But when it comes to the future, when it comes to your career, then you've got to listen to other offers, and also you've got to consider moving on. So particularly, I think directly that tells you that Yuri Tielemans is leaving Leicester City this summer. The other story comes in from Fabrizio Romano, who said that Yuri Tielemans is high up. Actually, he's not high up the list, but he is Arsenal's number one target in midfield. We want a central midfielder, and Yuri Tielemans is the one. Arsenal are looking. All our eggs are in the Tielemans basket. I don't know what you people think around Tielemans, and if you think we can get the deal done. But the beauty around this one, you have the price. You have a player who's played in the Premier League. You have a club that is willing to sell, a player who's willing to move, and you also have a player that directly solves a problem at Arsenal. Now, look, I've talked about Yuri Tielemans last season but one, and a couple of seasons before, and I said if Arsenal had a chance to sign him at Monaco, we should have done that. Xhaka is a great player. I think he's had a very, very great season. I'm not going to sit here and lie that I rate Xhaka so much, but I think he's had a very, very good season, and everyone will agree with me that Xhaka's had a decent season. But to be honest, Xhaka's good season is not good enough. What Xhaka does is play in front of Thomas Partey these days. Plays in front of Thomas Partey, almost on the same line as Martin Odegaard. And what we are supposed to be getting out of Granit Xhaka is what Man City get out of Bernardo Silva, or what they've got out of Bernardo Silva and Ike Gundogan this season. Players that control the game. That is what we are supposed to be getting. But to be honest, in Xhaka, you do not get that. We do not get that. We have a player who is most likely going to be passing the ball all day. When you look at his passing statistics and passing accuracy, Xhaka, excellent. He's in the 90s. He's in the 88% passing accuracy. But if you look at how many times does he, create a dangerous opportunity? How many times does he make a key pass? How many key passes is he averaging per 90 per season? That is where his passing is absolutely useless. I think, look, Xhaka would be very important with his passing and passing accuracy if he was playing if he was the one playing in the pivot, playing in the single pivot. But the moment you're playing high up the pitch, your role shifts from ordinary passing to passing with purpose, passing with intention. That is what you have and what you get in Yuri Tielemans. A player who can score for you goals outside the box, a player who can create for you chances outside the box, and a player that I think can dictate the rhythm of the game together with Martin Odegaard. Yeah, I think with Tielemans would be your Martin Odegaard on the other side of the pitch. I really, really rate him. The Sun have also said that the player was interested in a move to a club that has UEFA Champions League. However, at this point in time, he might be tempted. He might be convinced to join a club with without UEFA Champions League, because among all the clubs within the UEFA Champions League, there is no club that has actually expressed strong interest in him. The only club that has come out to be serious about him is Arsenal. Juventus have expressed interest. Madrid have expressed interest, and a couple of other clubs. However, now Madrid have signed Aurelien Tchouameni. So looks like Tielemans to Madrid could be a little bit blocked. I don't think Madrid are going to pay 100 million for Aurelien Tchouameni, and then they come and pay another 25-30 million euros for Yuri Tielemans. Not to say that he's not worth it. I think he's worth it, but for Madrid with Tchouameni and Camavinga, I don't see them go for Tielemans. So Tielemans then would move to Juve or to Arsenal. And the option available, the most valid option at the moment is Arsenal Football Club. So high chances are he will move to Arsenal without UEFA Champions League. We have already had contacts with the representatives of the player. We've talked to Yuri Tielemans as well. Leicester City are ready to sell. They're looking for around 30, 35 million euros. If Arsenal can put that bid on the table, the player will be ours. The third midfielder is Arthur Melo. Arthur Melo has also been closely linked with Arsenal. The difference with Melo, I think, is Juventus are willing to sell if the deal was not complicated. I think Arthur Melo by now would have been an Arsenal player. But the moment the deal got complicated, the moment Juventus complicated the deal, Arsenal decided to walk away. But we have reports from Italy. Gianluca Di Marzio still says there is still strong interest in Arthur Melo from Arsenal. We are not yet sure. I am not yet sure if Arsenal will be bidding and also trying to sign him. 18 million euros is the price that we are looking at. Look, I think with Melo, it's a question of can we get Yuri Tielemans? Tielemans is the priority. If we cannot get Yuri Tielemans, then I think Arsenal will be going for Arthur Melo. But if we can get Yuri Tielemans, I don't know. I don't see how Melo moves in. So it's either Melo or Yuri Tielemans, because both of them would be playing in that in that role as the second as the second pivot, the second player in the pivot alongside Thomas Partey. So Melo or Yuri Tielemans, I think both of them have their advantages. If you've seen Arthur Melo on the ball, you know what I'm talking about. He is absolutely brilliant on the ball. Tielemans is also brilliant on the ball, but I think technically Arthur Melo is a better player than Yuri Tielemans on the ball. I think what I love about Tielemans is that kind of physicality. He loses the ball very, very cheaply, but I think that can be worked on. I do not know what you think, but in my opinion, I think that can be worked on. You just need to tell him to be a little bit stronger, and also just tell him if you lose the ball, try to win it back. There's a couple of occasions where I've seen Tielemans lose the ball, and he can win it back, but he doesn't make the endeavor to win it back. I think that is the huge problem with Yuri Tielemans. But apart from that, I look at him as as a decent player, played in the Premier League. That is what Arsenal are looking for: players with experience, players in players that know the league and would understand the physicality of the Premier League. So those three lads, Bissouma, Arthur Melo, and Yuri Tielemans, at the moment, those are the targets that Arsenal are looking at in terms of solving our midfield crisis. What we want in what we want in the midfield. Those are the three players currently that Arsenal are looking up to. Can we get the deals done? I feel you can get the Tielemans deal done. You can get the Bissouma deal done. And you can also get the Arthur Melo deal done. It's as simple as that. Unless Edu and Mikel are also are still exploring the market to look at the likes of Lucas Paqueta and their availability. But apart from that, I think, look, I don't think Tielemans is a bad shout. I don't think Tielemans is a bad shout. Tielemans is a very, very good shout. You get him, it's a very good shout. It's a very, very good shout. Arthur Melo would also be very, very good shout, by the way. Yeah. And Bissouma, for me, Bissouma is a no-brainer. Yeah, Bissouma is a no-brainer. Bissouma is a no-brainer. Bring him in, play him in the Europa League, play him in the FA Cup. Just trust him, right? His game time is already guaranteed at Arsenal. Partey is not going to be fit all season. So the game time for Yves Bissouma is absolutely guaranteed. I don't see how Arsenal, would find an excuse not to bring him in. I wouldn't find any reason not to bring him in. Okay. Let's scroll through some of your chats. How are you doing, Wycliffe? The content is coming in. Yeah, the content is coming in. Thank you so much. I don't think we can build our midfield on Partey, even if on Partey is ever getting injured. Look, I think you can build your midfield on Thomas Partey. I think we have already built our midfield on Thomas Partey. We have already. I don't think it's a question of can. I think it's a question of how, right? So, and for me, the how part is easy. If Partey is unreliable, if Partey cannot give you those minutes you're looking for, it's as easy as go out there and find a player who can, back him up. Do not play him. Do not overstretch him. Do not overplay him, because with Thomas Partey, you have the ability to win games by the 70th minute. 70 minutes, if it is 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, take Thomas Partey off and let him, play in the next game. That is how you build your midfield. Just play, just bring in Yves Bissouma, and then Partey is all right. The reason with Thomas Partey, he's coming into the Premier League, is very, very physical, and he plays, whenever he's fit, he plays almost every game for Arsenal. Not a bad shout, but look, I don't think you're going to get many players that can play in that pivot, and you can trust them as Partey is. And we've already seen the impact of Thomas Partey. The moment he got injured, it was over for us. So for me, Thomas Partey is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. He should be our midfield pivot. He should be our midfield dynamite. But we've got to find better. We've got to find better ways of backing him up. We've got to find better ways of backing him up. But he's not a bad player at all. Not a bad player at all. They are moving slow in the market. We need to get our business done ASAP before pre-season. Okay, Cossy, we really need Bissouma. Negotiations for signing him there is no negotiations at the moment for Yves Bissouma. There is no negotiations. The player said he wants to cross over to Arsenal, but there are no negotiations. Arsenal want to first finalize the Gabriel Jesus deal, and also to finalize the Yuri Tielemans deal, because those are the two priorities. Of course, we have the likes of Gianluca Scamacca that we'll discuss on the podcast later tonight. We'll talk about Gianluca Scamacca, the likes of Alexander Zinchenko as well. But the two priorities in this summer, Yuri Tielemans and Gabriel Jesus. That is what Arsenal want to complete fast in this market. Okay. If Edu is serious, he should get Bissouma, Tielemans, Gabriel Jesus, a good left back, and a good winger to compete with Saka. With the point on a winger, I thought Arsenal were thinking, in the direction of getting in a player like Cody Gakpo or Moussa Diaby. That was according to the build. But what I've learned in the recent developments, it looks like Gabriel Jesus is going to be the versatile player. Because with Gabriel Jesus you can play him on the left, on the right, and then you would also have Gianluca Scamacca playing. You'd have Gianluca Scamacca playing as the center forward. So there are high chances that Scamacca plays as number 9, Gabriel on the left, and then you have Saka on the right. Or you could have a system where Arsenal use 2 strikers. We've not seen that for a long time, but you could have a system where Arsenal use 2 strikers. You have Scamacca and Gabriel as strikers, and then as part of the midfield, you'd have Saka, you'd have Tielemans, Partey, and Odegaard. I don't know how that would work, but I don't see Arsenal bringing in a winger. It might be a striker like Scamacca, and then Gabriel Jesus, because of his ability to shift in different positions on the forward line. That is what I think that's what Arsenal are looking at. Christopher says, I'm talking about Odegaard, Bissouma, Partey, and Tielemans. Look, and also at some point in time, Arsenal will need to find a way of, providing competition to every player. Partey should be backed up by Bissouma. Odegaard should be backed up by a player like Julian Brandt. And then Martinelli backed up by Emu Smith-Rowe. Saka should be backed up by probably another player in there. And then when you get a striker like Gabriel Jesus, it should be backed up by another striker like Lucas Kamaka. You need to have two players, in each position, and those players should be with absolute quality. That is if we were to compete yet again. I prefer Awa than Yuri Tielemans. I don't think both of them are bad players, honestly, to be sincere. I don't think both of them are bad players. I think both of them are very, very good, decent players. Awa is a decent player. Tielemans is a decent player as well. If you look at what we want to do, I think both of them fit into the category and caliber of what Arsenal want to do. You just want a central midfielder. That's why a central midfielder who's going to operate on the left. That is what we're looking at. Or a player who can facilitate us to play in a 4-3-3 kind of formation. For me, it's that easy. It's that easy. I think both of them could give us what we are looking for. I wouldn't really be very worried. If we sign both Tielemans and Bissouma, who should we bench if all four of our midfielders are fit and available? If we sign both of them, Bissouma goes to the bench because he can't bench Partey. Tielemans starts, Odegaard starts as well. Xhaka goes to the bench, or Xhaka could leave in the summer as well. So for me, Xhaka and Bissouma for the bench, Partey, Tielemans, and Odegaard start. As simple as that. We just need the numbers. We need the numbers. We need the security. So that is it, lads. Bissouma wants us to move. Tielemans is also confirming that he will be moving this summer, but will Arsenal pay the money? My name is Cossy, and I will speak to you in the next one.